sold myself shut. My weakness is that I care too much.
So, again, I have one more experiment to go through, and you want to make an observation, and this yellow stuff is called lycopodium powder, and it's kind of strange stuff. If I just dump it on the table, and I get my goggles, it's not flammable, or not real flammable. It'll like kind of crackle and spark a little bit. So if I kind of try to start this stuff on fire, people in the front might hear kind of some crackling, but nothing real exciting. Whereas if I make this stuff airborne, okay, it is much more flammable. All right, and so that would be an observation you can make. Is like when you spread this yellow stuff out, it is a lot more flammable. Okay, and so using your 5 senses, you can make some observations that, hey, it's not flammable if it's just sitting there in a big old clump, but it is flammable if you take it and go and blow it around. And those are the observations you can make. You also say it's yellow. It also kind of feels like baby powder in a way in your hands. So I've kind of created a question for this experiment. What happens if I spread the lycopodium powder out? I make it fly in the air. And you guys kind of can see what happens when I do it in this little bottle and I throw it across a flame. A hypothesis is an educated guess. And so you probably can make a pretty educated guess about this experiment that I'm going to do. Inside of here I have a can that has a tube, and it kind of comes out to a funnel. I wish I could show you the inside. I should really take a picture and put it in the PowerPoint. But it's got a funnel inside of here, and then I put a candle in there, and I put the lycopodium powder inside of this funnel, and then I blow on this tube. So mainly what I'm doing is I'm making the powder go airborne inside this can that has a lit candle. And so you probably can make a hypothesis about what's going to happen here in this experiment. And you could even go further and start saying, the more lycopodium powder I throw in there, the bigger the explosion that will happen. Okay, and that would be a fair, educated guess to make. All right, so then when you do the experiment, you record the data, you do it multiple times. Now, and here in this situation, we're only going to do it once. You make charts, you make graphs. After you do the experiment, you come up with a conclusion. Okay, and you let other people know about your findings. If your hypothesis is correct, obviously if it's wrong, you're not going to go in and tell everyone your wrong findings. That's not so good to do. Alright? Okay. Alright, so as always, anytime we use fire, wearing goggles. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. If it's a dud, I'm really sorry. Other times I've had real good explosions with it. People in the front, just be aware that this does explode. So. Different tests on this guy. We could add more lycopodium powder and see what happens. Like, does the flame get bigger as it comes out? We also could do a couple tests where we see if I push more air through this, would that make a bigger explosion? Like, get more of it up. Because as I look in here, there's still a decent amount of powder just sitting in the funnel. So maybe had it going really hard, we would have had a bigger explosion. So that's
care too much. And my scars remind me that the past is real. I tear my